Hi, welcome back to Next Third, Best Third. I'm David Fenwick, the founder and your host. And for the next 5 episodes, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of interviewing anybody, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak into the 5 pillars of Next Third, Best Third and give action items for you to apply to your life with intentionality so that you can start 2025 off on the right foot, truly making the next third of your life the very best third. So the first one that we're going to talk about is cognitive health. And there's 2 aspects of cognitive health. One that I'm qualified to speak on and one that I'm not. And the one that I'm not is going to be the medical side, things like dementia and Alzheimer's, which those have been diagnosed for a while now as type 3 diabetes. And as such, in a holistic, functional medicine type of approach, diet, nutrition, exercise, those all play a huge role in fighting dementia and fighting Alzheimer's. But what I'm going to talk about today is really focus on the thought life. Your thought life, what you are intentionally processing, right? There's a proverb that says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And I find that so intriguing. I find that so interesting, that mind-heart connection. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So our thoughts are connected to our heart, and the actual belief, the resonance of our thought life is here in our heart. Our heart it's not our spirit and it's not our body, but it's what we would call the soul. It's the mind, the will, the emotions, the motivation we have, right? And if you think about it, what you believe there in that soul, what you believe in your heart motivates every aspect of your life. I like to think about the heart as being the engine room of your life, right? Your thoughts fuel the engine room of your life. It fuels your motivation. It fuels your will and your emotions. There's another scripture that says that we're to take every thought captive. And I like that. I like that because the picture isn't like trying to stop bad things. I'm just going to stop thinking, stinking thinking kind of thing, right? But instead, it's taking control of your thoughts. Because truthfully, either your thoughts control you or you control your thoughts. And by taking them captive, what you're doing is you're controlling your thinking. And by controlling your thinking, you put aside things like comparison, which is so detrimental to a man, right? Or worry or fear. And instead you dwell, you think upon good things. You think about the positives. You think about the things that you can have control over and be intentional about. Another thing that I've spoken on in public many times is that the attention, what we give our attention to, attention is literally like a currency. In the ancient text, it says that where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, which is so contrary, if you think about it, to what we naturally think. We naturally think we're going to invest, put our resources into the things we love. And we do that somewhat. But what I've found to be true is what a man invests in, what a man purposely pours into, gives his resources towards, his heart follows that, both good and bad. Your attention is a currency, it's a treasure, it's a resource. What are you giving your attention to? We always talk about taking honest appraisal of your life, right? Examining your life and taking honest appraisal. I encourage you to be looking at what are the things that have my attention? What am I paying attention to? If a man is paying attention to just random stuff, right? Just games and hobbies and things like that, his heart's going to follow that. And he's going to be complacent in relationships. If a man is putting all his resources, paying attention only to his work, only to making money, as good as and necessary as that is, a man will find himself disenfranchised from the very people he's working for, his loved ones. And if a man pays attention to things like porn and entertainment, he'll find himself, his heart will follow that, and he'll become dissatisfied, both with himself and with his partner. So attention talks again about being a transactional thing, and where your investment, where your treasure, where your intention goes, your heart will follow. And there's that heart-mind connection again. Your thought and your heart are intrinsically and purposely and powerfully connected. And we have to get this truth really resonating through us, right? If we're going to be the men who make the next third of our life the best third and be intentional and see change in our lives, we have to change the way we think and recognize that it fuels our motivation, it fuels everything we do. So in 2025, as we start thinking of what are some action items that we can do as far as our thought life, I want to encourage you to invest wisely in your thought life, right? I want to encourage you to take captive your thoughts and examine the things like, who do you walk with? What I mean by that is, if we're with guys, if our relationships, if our friends are guys who are intentional, if they are investing in the good things, if they're investing in making their lives better, we're going to fuel off that, we're going to feed off that. But contrarily, if these guys are just goofballs, right? If they're just out there and they're just satisfying their natural urges, they're not investing in the right things, they're complacent, we're going to be influenced by them too. So your thought life, and thus your heart, really is intrinsically connected with the people you associate with. The second thing is taking thoughts captive is I want you to daydream again. Think about that, daydreaming. When I was a boy, I grew up Catholic, and in the nuns in the Catholic school used to always get on me. They'd be like going, "You're such a daydreamer," right? They'd come over and smack me into attention, but they would negatively speak about daydreaming to the point where I stopped daydreaming. But daydreaming is powerful. It's intentionally putting yourself into a position that you're thinking about and dwelling on the idyllic. You're thinking about and dwelling on positive or enjoyable things. Daydreaming is wonderful. And as men, as we get older, especially if we've been, guys like me who grew up saying daydreaming is bad, and we're guys who've worked really hard and we're tired and all these kind of things, we've stopped daydreaming. And I encourage you, start daydreaming again. It's so liberating, and it's so freeing, and it's so powerful for you. Another thing is to think about goals. I'm one of those who I don't do well with really, really tight goals, like I'm going to lose 10 pounds by this date or anything like that. But my goals are a little bit longer range and a little bit broader. Like I have a goal to be younger next year. January of 2026, I want to be younger. I want to be functionally younger. I want to be more prosperous next year. I want to expand my spheres of influence and have more relationships next year. So I set these broad goals. Sometimes you guys might find it's easier to set really measurable short goals. That's fine too, whatever works. But we've got to be thinking about goals for our lives. And then the other thing is, and I've had a hard time with this, and it's making declarations over yourself. And what I mean by that, it's much more than the power of positive thinking, though it is that somewhat. I avoided making declarations over myself because of things that I experienced and viewed in religious circles, prosperity gospel, things like that. So if you're familiar with that, some of you are and some of you aren't. But think of it this way: these preachers on TV who are making these outlandish claims and I just wanted to stay as far away from that as possible. But I found by doing so, I was actually putting a scarecrow in the garden of positive declaration, because there's power in agreement. There's power in our mind and our thought, in our heart, when we agree with truth, when we agree with positive thoughts, when we agree with thinking good things about ourselves and about others. So some of the steps of intentionality that I encourage you, and these are going to be 5 key steps, but it's going to help you take your thoughts captive, and it's going to put you in a position of experiencing the power of agreement. So here they go. I want you to consider doing this over the next 30 days, right? So over the next 30 days, I want you to write down 10 daydreams for your life. At least 10. You don't have to do it all at once. This is a 30-day process. So over the next 30 days, start daydreaming and then write them down. I hope you exceed 10. I hope you get to 100. But at least shoot for 10 daydreams. Dreaming about what could my life be like, right? Think about the idyllic. Think about the potential and write those down. The next thing is 10 goals for your life over the next year. Again, start for 10, shoot for 10. It can be as many as you want, and it can be anything you want. For some of you, it'll be financial goals. Some will be physical. Some will be relationship goals. Some it might be goals to take a trip that you've always wanted. Whatever it may be, but shoot for 10 goals for 2025. Then what I want you to do, and for some this will be hard, but I hope you do this, and I encourage you to write 10 things that you like about yourself. I mean, think about it. When's the last time you took assessment and said, I like me, right? I like me. You know, there's a command in the Bible about loving others as you love yourself. Well, if you don't love yourself, how can you possibly love others in a real, true, positive way, right? So what are 10 things? And again, I hope this exceeds 10, but start with 10 things that I really like about myself. And I believe what you're going to do is you're going to start finding that you are in a position where you're actually better than you've been thinking you are. You know, that's what I hope you find. Then I want you to write 10 things that you enjoy. Just things that I enjoy, right? I mean, it could be anything. It could be, I enjoy golf. I enjoy coffee. I enjoy that. It's going to be way more than 10, hopefully, especially over the next 30 days. But again, I want us to start taking control of our thoughts. I want us to get to the place where we're replacing negative thoughts or complacent thoughts or distracted thoughts with real positive thoughts and positive declarations and hope for our lives. And then finally, I want you to write out 10 declarations to declare over yourself for the next 30 days. 10 things that you're going to declare for yourself. Like, I declare this is going to be the most prosperous year financially in my life. I am going to reconnect with old friends this year. My health is going to improve. I'm going to be in the best shape of my life by the end of this year. You know, things like that, whatever it could be things about your spouse and you. It could be things over your kids. Whatever it is, make those 10 declarations and write them down. And for the next 30 days, make it a discipline. Be intentional of going over these 5 key things, right? These daydreams, these goals, what you like about yourself, what you enjoy, and declarations over yourself. And meditate on them, build on them, and see how different you feel going into February than you have maybe going into January. So I hope this helps you. Like I say, we're going to continue with the next 4 pillars of next third, best third. But I'm for you, right? I'm for you. We need you. We need good men. And if you do me a favor, before you leave, if you'd like this, if you'd subscribe, share it, comment, all that will help us get this kind of material and these kind of messages out to men like you and me, and so that we can truly make the next third the very best third. See you next time.